Hello everyone, my name is Molly. I'll be your moderator today. I'd like to welcome everyone here to the 2014 Homeschool Conference and to the session, Be Your Own Geek, Increase Your Skills to Teach Tech. Your presenter today will be Erin Lorandos, who is a tech librarian at the Mesa Public Library and who is part of the team that is responsible for teaching the computer and tech classes at that library. And before we get started, we'd like to take a moment to thank our fabulous sponsors for making this conference possible, and especially to our platform, Blackboard Collaborate.
Great. Thank you very much, Molly, for that introduction. I appreciate it. As Molly mentioned, I am one of the tech librarians here at the Mesa Public Library. And what myself and my team do here at the library, in addition to many, many other things, of course, is both put together and also present the classes that our patrons come to take to learn how to use various technologies and programs that we have access to through the computers nowadays. So before we get too far in here, I would love for you guys who are attending this session to go ahead and put a little star on the map wherever you're joining us from so we can see the wide range of places represented. So if you aren't familiar with how to do that, right next to this picture of a map, it looks like people are doing it, so I won't bother telling you, but you see how it works. That's approximately Arizona. I am at the Mesa Public Library in Arizona. I'm actually originally from Wisconsin, so I'm happy to see that little note up there by somebody who's either Minnesota, Wisconsin, somewhere up there, huh? And I have been living out here for about a year. I did work in public libraries and academic libraries back in Wisconsin as well. Minnesota, okay. Fantastic. Close enough. Just as long as we don't start to talk sports, we'll be okay, right? So in any case, it looks like we've got a wide range of participants across the country, so that's fantastic to see. All right. So let's get started. As Molly mentioned, my presentation is entitled Be Your Own Geek. I'll be speaking about how to increase your skills to teach tech, whether you are dealing with adult learners or kids. There are lots of resources that we use here at the library that help us in creating our programs and our classes. And I'll just talk about a couple of them that I want to highlight today that I think would be applicable for folks in the homeschooling realm as well. And then at the end, I would like to open up a little bit of conversation, either through chat or if anyone has a microphone attached. We can talk about our own local public libraries and what types of resources and classes might be freely available there that both teachers and students in the homeschool setting can take advantage of. So, teaching tech when you're not a techie. Many teachers and librarians, of course, are called upon to teach new technologies and programs that they themselves may not be familiar with. So as I mentioned, I wanted to highlight just a few of the resources we use here, and then when we get nearer to the end, we'll open it up for conversation. The first one that I'd like to highlight is one called GCSLearnFree.org, and this is a website that was put out by the Goodwill Community Foundation and Goodwill Industries, and they have a lot of really great resources. The first thing I'd like to do is watch just their short little introductory video. So I'm going to switch it over here to the video, and if the clip doesn't start playing automatically for you on your screen, you can go ahead and click the play button and be able to watch it along with us. So I'm going to switch over to the video now. Okay, I'll just give everybody a moment to catch up with that video if you're watching it with a little bit of a lag. So as you can see, GCS Learn Free has many tracks available, from office products to work and career skills to technology basics. So let's look a little bit more in depth at one of those tracks that they offer. I'm just clicking through here to show all of those different classes that they offer. So in the Technology Basics section, I'd like to highlight the Online Safety section, which deals specifically about internet safety. And, oh yes, it was captioned, yes. And also the internet safety for kids, which I think will apply to many of our homeschool sessions. So within each of the tracks, you'll see a bunch of sections that go over different topics. So for example, in this one, they're going to be talking about teaching internet safety to kids, how to stay safe from online predators, cyberbullying and cyber harassment, which is of course a very sad but real reality for a lot of kids online today. Using social networks safely, so Facebook and other social media sites, understanding file sharing networks, and mobile device safety. And then the last section are additional resources, not necessarily a specific lesson, but additional resources that the child can check out to see what else they might be interested in learning. So as the video pointed out, one of the cool things that I think is really nifty about this website is the varied ways that that you can interact with the information. So this is an example of how, by clicking through on these little yellow dots, different descriptions or definitions will pop up to give that child more information about what they're looking at. And it allows them to interact with it then in their own way. As the video also mentioned, there are videos to watch, there are more interactive games and that sort of thing as well. So if we go a little bit deeper into the lesson, each of them also has a quiz at the end of each section, which allows them to gauge what they have learned from that section of the track. And it's just a very simple, usually multiple choice or a click-through quiz, but it gives them the ability to kind of gauge what they've learned and what they might need to revisit. After the quizzes, there are also these Learn More sections, which kind of connect other tracks that are available. In this case, the Internet or the Computer Basics, Internet 101, how to search the Internet, and how to use information correctly. And so it ties these additional digital literacy resources together, so the kid or the teacher doesn't necessarily need to think, oh, okay, what else should I be looking at? They put those other tracks right there for you. And the way that we use these primarily here at the library would be pulling some of the videos out that they've uploaded on how to use various programs, or for our Computer Basics class, for example, they have a really great video about the internal workings of the computer. And for people who have had no experience with computers, like we often see here at the library, it's a really easy way for them to get to know what's going on inside that big black box on their desk without needing to have a lot of prior knowledge or, goodness, taking it apart yourself or anything like that. You can just watch these videos and learn more about it that way. So a second site that we use a lot here at the library is DigitalLearn.org. And this one doesn't have a video that I'm going to play, but I just want to talk a little bit about these two main sections of the website. There's one side that says Learn, and this is where you would go to find their tracks and their self-guided learning, as what you saw with GCS Learn Free. And let's talk about that side first. These are just some of the examples of classes or sessions that you can go through. You'll see that a lot of them are similar to what you see on on GCS Learn. So basically the difference here is that it gives you a good idea of how long it's going to take you to go through each session, which I really like, especially for folks using our computers here in the library and whatnot. They might have a limited amount of time and they might not want to get too deeply involved with something that they're going to have to stop. So as you can see, they range in length from very, very short, 6 or 7 minutes, longer to 15 minutes or so. And that allows that patron to kind of see what they're getting themselves into. So they also have online job searching and some other class tracks that are very useful, like creating a resume. I can see how these would apply very well to the upper grades in the schools once kids, are getting to that point where they're going to have to start deciding between college or trying to get a job right away or whatever. The skills that they can learn through these types of sites, like creating a resume and online job searching, would be very useful to them. One thing that's also really cool about this site is they do have the Introduction to Computers class in Spanish. And so even if you're not instructing students whose first language is Spanish, it could be a really good way to practice language skills for those who are learning another language. As with GCSLearn.org or LearnFree.org, they have their classes in Spanish as well. This is the only one that is currently available in Spanish on DigitalLearn, but I believe that they are working to create more. The other side of the DigitalLearn.org website is for those who are the teachers, those who are helping people learn. And there is a really great community of people there, teachers, librarians, other folks who are in this capacity who can collaborate then and speak to their experiences, as well as share different tactics that they have found that have been useful. So inside of that side of the website, you can see they have an online discussion board. You can join groups based on either your geographic location or also your interest groups. And this is something that we have started a little bit to involve ourselves in here at the library, being able to offer our professional insights into some of these different interest groups. And speaking of Spanish, there is an example here I'd like to show you of a post that was made back in July of different Spanish typing programs. And I didn't copy out all of the responses, but at the time I took this picture, you see there's just 4. But people were sharing different typing resources that they were using either in their classrooms or online in teaching in libraries to open that realm up, because most of the time the links that are easy to share and that sort of things are the ones that do deal with English language speakers. And here in Arizona, of course, we do have quite a few people in our population who have Spanish as a first language. And while we haven't yet been able to present our classes in Spanish, at least we can offer some of these resources, some of these tracks, and also some specific links to training, for example, in typing, to the Spanish speakers as well. So now I would like to talk a little bit about some of the things that we're doing here at our library, and if any of you would like to chime in on some experiences that you've noticed, or if you have any questions about what types of things might be available. Obviously, the 2 sites that I just highlighted are more for creating your classes and how to present those to your students. However, your local library probably, in many cases, hopefully with funding and all of that, I know that's difficult in many parts of our country right now, but they will have these classes for different patron types, and hopefully some of your students might be able to participate in the classes directly through the library. So that kind of saves the teachers a little bit of time and effort having to put together a class that your local library might already be presenting. So for example, here at our library, we offer many computer classes on various subjects from computer basics all the way up through Excel and PowerPoint. We have 3 different classes on Microsoft Word, a beginning, intermediate, and advanced level. These are all for adults. However, we have recently started a separate program for our teenage patrons under the series title of Techno Teen. We thought that was kind of cute, where we rotate back and forth between teaching them either Word or PowerPoint, something like that, to something a little bit more fun, like Pixlr, which is an online free photo editing program, which is very, very similar to Adobe Photoshop. And so they're learning those skills that they could then apply if they, were interested in photography, or if they found themselves in a position in a job that might need the more complicated attributes of Photoshop. They've already seen this in a free program at the library. We're also doing, this fall, we are doing some, I don't want to call them craft sessions, but that's kind of the library speak for it, where they will be making simple circuit connections and making flashing pins and things like that using the circuit tape. A very, very simple circuitry, of course, but something that you might not really expect to be learning at the library. Over the summer, we also did, for the teens, we did a session on Go Animate, which is an online animation platform where people can create short videos, 30-second videos, and you can customize everything from the type of background to the characters in your video to adding your own voiceovers and actions, all that sort of thing. And then our culminating event for that was a showcase where all of the folks who created videos got to show them to everyone, and then we awarded one the winner. It was really well attended for what it was, and these types of opportunities might be available at your libraries as well. A lot of libraries will also gear some of the training and classes towards the younger kids, the younger than teenagers. For example, our library does something called Tablet Time in conjunction with our story times for the young toddlers, where they're interacting with the books through one of our resources called Tumble Books, and through the iPad. And so they're interacting with the stories and they're learning in a different way. And so a lot of the things that the library might be doing could easily apply themselves in the classroom. We just have to make sure to make those connections with the teachers and be there for whatever support that they might need. So at this time, I'd love to hear if you guys have had any experiences with any of your local libraries, or taking any classes for yourself, or hopefully for the younger kids as well. You should be able to, here, I'm going to give everybody microphone privileges now. So if you guys want to chime in or just go ahead and type in the chat box, we can read those as well. I see the question about comparing the online libraries with site-to-site and face-to-face libraries. Do you mean for teaching, or generally like the databases and things like that? Oh. Well, I guess I'll just kind of speak to both of those. All of the above. Okay. So in my experience, the libraries that I have worked in, we always do have the face-to-face computer classes. These links to training online and that sort of thing are great, except the patron can't interact as much. They can't ask as many questions and that sort of thing. And so in my experience, the classes that are attended in person are more beneficial for the patron or for the student because of that interaction. And they're able to follow up on things. They can say, wait a minute, how did you get there? And that sort of thing. And we can show them, as many times as we need to, well, within the time that we have allowed at least. We also have one thing that I haven't seen at a lot of other libraries yet, but I hope is something that becomes more common. We have a one-on-one digital help desk here at the library where patrons can bring in their computers and ask individual questions as well. So if, for example, they came to one of our classes and they thought they got it, but then when they went home and they tried it and it just didn't work, they could then come back in and get that one-on-one attention as opposed to waiting for the next class. Oh, that's really long. Okay, let's see here. I took a 6-session class at my library that taught us how to use the library's new 3D printers. Fantastic. We learned to use software and design to design customized objects that we then printed. The ages of the 8 people in my class ranged from 12 to 82. Oh, that's fantastic. I am so happy to hear that. One of our branches, we do have a location, we call it Think Spot, and it is basically a collaboration space, but we've also got a lot of that newer tech like the 3D printer and some other really fun things to play with. And yeah, they do those classes out there. Actually, I believe it's once a week. People can come in and learn how to use the 3D printer and all of that. And that is just a really great thing that libraries are being able to offer now that, no one would have thought about doing that kind of stuff in a library before. So that's a great experience that you shared. Thank you very much. Has anyone else had any experiences they'd like to share from classes at their libraries? Or alternatively, things that you wish your libraries did. We could create a wish list here. I can say that in the libraries that I've worked in, I've seen quite a range of being able to offer this kind of stuff. And of course, a lot of it is based on money and staffing. As we all know, in all of our professions, that's always an issue. But with support from the community, a lot of this stuff can take off. So it's good to hear that other people are being able to take advantage of that. I should use this, oh yes, exactly, Laura. The petting zoos, bringing in iPads and printers and letting the students play around with them. That is an excellent way for students and of any age to be introduced to the different technologies that are out there. I know a lot of libraries do that like right after Christmas because a lot of people will have gotten something for Christmas that, they're like, all right, I don't know how to use this thing, and they're scared. And the best way to learn is by playing, by doing it yourself. Exactly. Yeah. Let's see. So some of the other libraries where I've worked, we've done those petting zoos and we've had classes, but I feel very lucky here at Mesa. This was the first time that we've had a lot of the newer technologies available to us and also the staff knowledge to back it up. What is it if you can't actually have anyone show you what to do? So that's a very key part of it. But for the teachers that might be listening, I think it's very important to open these lines of dialogue with your libraries because even if it's not something that your library is currently offering, it might be because they don't necessarily know anyone in their community is interested in it. So definitely, take that time and get in touch with either school libraries in the area or public libraries and see what sort of collaboration you can do. All right, Washington's all about this, huh? That's fantastic. Yes, that's one thing that we plan on doing come the fall with our techno teens is kind of, as I said, rotating back and forth between teaching a more, we'll say, more school-oriented class, like teaching them how to use Word or PowerPoint, that sort of thing, and doing these more creative applications of the newer technologies. And we're bringing a lot of the stuff that we have at our location that has all of this new tech to our main branch where more of our patrons can experience it. Do you offer help after hours for students needing it late at night? Currently, our help desk is only open for about 6 hours a week, and all of those hours are during what I would consider normal business hours. I know that in the fall we are planning on expanding that service, and we do offer our classes kind of on a rotational basis at different times of day and also on different days of the week, trying to hit as many people as we can, you know, finding that, that balance between when we're available and when they're available. Our library is open until 8 o'clock at night, and so far our latest classes have ended by like 6:30 or 7 usually, so we don't go super late with those offerings. But you know, it's kind of hit or miss sometimes whether or not people are able to come, even if you're changing it up the day of the week and the time. So that's something to keep in mind with you know, working with the library schedules. They're all going to do what they can, but unfortunately they're still limited by the staffing and the hours in the day that they're open. So, good question. Anybody else have anything that they would like to share? I would recommend taking a look at our library's website, which is mesalibrary.org. You can type that into the chat box here, and I can bring it up in our shared window as well. Oops. And you can see on our list of classes, I believe you might have to do this along with me. I don't think what I'm doing is going to show up on everybody's screen. But if you scroll down just a little bit underneath the little rotating slideshow here that currently says August News, if you click into our library events, it'll bring up a calendar, and you can kind of see the wide range of things that we offer here at the library. Now, these will be classes at all of our branches, and all of our programs are on here. So you'll see everything from our computer classes to you know, story time and Lego Club and all of that sort of thing. But honestly, all of these types of classes and programs that your library might be offering, depending on what your subject is at school or what your kids want to learn, you know, there might be a way to work with the library and the programs that they're offering in other cases as well. I like to highlight the tech just because I'm on the tech team, but of course we've got lots of other stuff to offer as well. So were there any other questions about anything that we do? Oh, thank you, Nikki. Anything that we do here at our library, or experiences that you guys would like to share? Okay. Well, let me go back to our presentation here. That is the information that I had wanted to share with you guys. And if you guys have any questions for me after the session, my email address is up on the screen. Please go ahead and send me any additional feedback that you think of later on, or any questions or anything that I could help you with. You know, definitely get in contact with your local libraries and see what sorts of things they're offering, what databases you guys can use in your classes, and what sorts of programming and other classes that you guys might be able to take advantage of in your classroom. So I want to thank you very much for your attention. I know it was a small group, but you definitely were good participants. I very much appreciate that. Thank you. And thank you, Rochelle. Thank you, Molly. I think we're all alone.